all the information presented in this video is for educational purposes only. You can use this information for your trading decisions, but you're solely responsible for your decisions. Having taken care of that, let's look at what is happening to SPY. The first thing is, first we always start with the indices, and the first one we want to look at the SPY. If you look at here, it fell to 87.5 and it has been going up. Whenever this 87.5 retracement happened, it can go up to 125%, 1.25. So next week is where it is 527. And usually when you see this 527 to 539, the midpoint of that is like 533. So which it can reach next week. So what I'm thinking is next week it can go. And again, if I take the GAN, for those of you who don't know, it's just a measure of angles. So this has gone from 490, though that is going to around, it's at the 135-degree GAN angle, and that's what's 523. And it crossed that, but it has to go, I'm thinking it can go up to 529 before it starts falling a little bit, up to this area, which is 504, before it gets to 535. So it is going to be a little bit volatile. So we might see the first few, up to Wednesday, we might see an up and then we might see a down. So both can happen next week. So be cautious, watch out on these positions, okay? So 529 is the first position and the second one is 535. So the next 2 weeks, it should be happening. These things could be happening. And by April, we should be seeing a downfall. What I mean by down is the first down which I'm looking at is 490, below 490. So this is the swing low that we had. So the 490 below that will be like 479, 4, and it might go further down also. So look at these lines, which is at 494, then it's at 481, then it can go up to here, 466, then this is the 450. So this looks like a solid area where we might hit and this might happen up to here, which is coinciding with the cloud. But one thing you can see for sure, the cloud looks very, very bullish so far. So that doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but it's a correction. So from there, will it go up? That we have to see. Okay. So 450, there are many multiple things like this. The first stop might be around 495 area, and then we can see this one, 482, then 450. These are the lines we are watching here. Okay. So SPY, the first target 529 and the second target is 535. So once we reach that, we should be very, very cautious for a downfall. Maybe it can go up, but I don't see a lot of possibilities. But again, that's what it is. Similarly, QQQ is like inside the best part about the QQQ is last week, it went into the this thing. So where can it go? So it can be like the first target I'm looking for it is 454. So next week it can go, this can move a little bit. It's at 444. So another 10 points move you can see. But then it might go down. It might take some time. And it can even go back to this conversion line, right? So those kind of things can happen. If it really gets below this line, then we are looking at this line here, which is like around 383. So I think it might fast move to this line, if it stays above this, it has to touch this line, that the edge of channel. So I don't know how this is going to work. So basically what I'm thinking is, I don't know, we have to check. Does this have this big move is the question, basically. So let me say, so this one is what we have to watch. If it goes below this line, then it has a long legs down too. Okay. So let's keep watching that. Then the next one is IWM. IWM is like reaching a crux, like it didn't move a big thing. It went up to 62.5% ratio, and then it is going here. So the next week it can go to 215, or if the week after, I think it has only legs of 215. Today I wanted to share some insight here. If you see here, right, if you see any technical analysis, a lot of people know, hey, where can it go? If you see here, right, 205 was the highest, and this one was 187. So 205, 187 is how much? $13, $18 it fell. So out of that, it is like trying to go at least $9 up. That goes to 214. So 214 area. So always when it goes to 214 area, it comes back and then it goes back up again. So this works in that way. Usually on my observation, again, this is not like anything that is a proven theory, but on years of observation, I've seen that after moving the half the distance, it tends to fall down. So IWM doesn't have a very big legs, but it can go to 214, 215 area. Okay. Any questions here, folks? We covered the indices. You are able to hear me now, right? Right?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
This
Okay.
is
Cool. Okay. Okay. Then let's move on to the Mag 7, which is an NVIDIA. NVIDIA, if you look at it, it has gone to this line and then it didn't, now this has formed a higher high here last week, which is 967. Now the first target for this is around 960. So to this week, I was looking at the IV, it can go up to $47, which is from 903, it can go to 50. So from 950 to 960 area, folks. So that is the move that it has for this week. And there is a possibility that it may not go here. If it stays below this line, then we might see, we don't know, it might have a more downside move. So that is one thing we have to check. So 960 is the area it can go. From there, will it make a big move? There is only time, it needs more time maybe. But if it stays above this line, then we know that it can go up. Now, this all depends on the SPY, folks. If the SPY is going down or the QQQ is going down, you don't want to stay in these stocks. So always be with the trend and be with the trend is your friend, okay? So be with the trend and those kind of things. The next one which I want to talk about is the NVIDIA, then the Microsoft. Microsoft is like, it formed this kind of a, which is not right, which is formed kind of a lower, it came out of this line, right? Last week it was in this line, but it went over. But we have to wait for 2 weeks confirmation. By the way, this is weekly chart, folks. So I'm still hoping that we can get to this line, 437, which is possible, or 430, 441. That's what it looks like. That's the line we want to get there. And it fell for so long, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, but it might take longer. I don't know. We have April 26 calls for Microsoft. So we got to see. So it fell for 3 weeks. 1, 2. The higher high was formed here, right? Which was the higher high? This is a higher high. 1 second, folks. So this is 420.82, 420.74, and this is 420. Yeah. So from here, it has fallen 3 weeks, folks. So basically, this one may go up to here, 428 or 430. So let's see. We might have another 4 more weeks to go here. So to get to this point. So that's what it looks like. Let's see what is in store for this week. If it is continuing to get down below this line, then it needs another 3 more weeks, which I doubt, but which might tend to go up a bit, but it may not form a higher high very soon. It might need another 3, 4 weeks to get there. So which is 427. So we might be having something vacillating here. That's what I feel. And Apple has become a big dud, folks. Never see. One thing I've learned, which I made a mistake last week, is never trade in the cloud because it's always vacillating. I was thinking that it would reach this top, but it is taking too long. If you see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks it fell, and it is trying to go to the upper week. So we have to see 1, 2, 3 weeks. So it is at least trying to reach this half. So that it might need 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it might take another 2 weeks to get to 182, but it's not worth it. So that's one thing. Tesla is kind of surprising. It crossed 173. It reached the next Gann angle, which is 180. But if you see here, it still hasn't crossed this conversion line, which is the lowest of the Ichimoku cloud. So it is still under this. I wouldn't trade this. I don't like this trade at all. If you see in the daily, it looks very, very bearish. But here, it crossed the Did it cross the conversion here? I'm sorry, folks, too many lines, but let's check. Uh, 173. Yeah, it did cross. So, I mean, the next stop is this baseline. It went to the baseline and then it fell down. So, will it cross? And this is looking very bearish too. Baseline is above the conversion, which is not a good sign. So, I would avoid this trade, but definitely it has a potential to go to this area, this line, which is 180. I don't know when it will hit that line. So, I think another 2 weeks maybe to get to the top of the cloud. And from there, it will go. Tesla. So at least it will go up to here. That's what it looks like. 197 area. Since it crossed 170 area, it might go here. But let's see. It fell for a long time. So let's see what happens. Let's see if there is momentum next week. Okay. From there we'll go. The next one is Meta. Meta, if you see here, I am liking Meta in the sense it fell for 2 weeks here from the high, which is 523. And it has been above, it didn't form a lower low. So you see here, 481, and this is 485. So this week it might get to this line, which is 509, according to implied volatility. And then it might go from there. Let's see how Meta moves this week. It looks still bullish to me, but this line has been broken. Considering that this was a high at 515. So if it stays above this line at 504, then it can go up to this one. So definitely the channel it takes a while. It has fallen to 87.5. If you draw a channel, right, from the bottom of the Bollinger Band, it has a lot of weeks to go. So here, this is 659 is the 137.5. So here, somewhere in between, 659, so it can 650. So Meta can go up to 650, folks, but will it go immediate? I'm not sure about that. So basically, this week we might have an up move, third week, but not all the way to this here, but we might see some move to at least, I'm thinking maybe we have to first break this line, which is 510, and then it has to break these lines and then go to here. But let's see how it proceeds. But definitely it has good potential of going to 650 in the long run. Then Meta, then Netflix. Netflix, let's remove all the lines so that we can understand people how to draw these lines also. So Netflix, what was the top which was formed? The top was formed here, right? Am I correct? 624, then 620.
Was it 640?
Yeah, 634 was the high, but I'm looking for something which will give me 1 second. So if I take this, did it touch this 549.32? No, didn't touch. Okay, let's do this. This was 624.42. This is 594. No, it is not touching at all. Okay, I'm looking for something that touches the line. How much is this? 579.64. And this is, yeah, let's take this. 549. And then it went to the high of 634.4. So it fell for 2 weeks. So now we from a high, it went to a low. So this low is around 608. This low is around 601. So that means, it went lower than this. So that means it is like 2 weeks it has fallen down. If it continues to rise, it needs at least 3 weeks to form a higher high. Remember, always to form a higher high, it has to rise more the number of weeks than it has fallen. So, but having said that, here 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks it fell. So it is going up, but it still has a lot of time, folks, to get to where it wants to. So it has to go above 640. It has to somewhere around between 667. So let's see, if I draw a line from here to here, the trend line, this is what it went below this line itself. So it is like not going to go. So what I'm thinking is, wow, this is like another 2 weeks. It can get to this 650 area. But we need a bigger move down so that we can get those things. Okay, this is how. So now it looks like we might hit here. So this is like what? Sorry, this is not big enough. Let's take this. Are you able to see now? Yeah. So this is, I want to see what is 671 is coming. Oh, Netflix might have a big move this week. So let me see. Do they have any here? I'm looking in this one if they have any place here. Somebody is playing 602.5 calls. Uh, Okay, so for the next 2 weeks, what are they playing? I'm looking at it. Somebody's playing 665 calls for 98K, which is not at 7.65, folks. So this seems to be a fair bet if it moves next week, 665 calls. Then Netflix, 625 calls are being played. Look at this, folks. This is what volume to OI. This is what 88.29. Somebody is playing 602.5 calls for 52K. The volume is 1,236 and this is 14. So I'm just showing you to see that this could happen. So are you seeing what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So this is a move from 602.5. So what they are looking for is a move to 638, 667, that is like 650, so around 650. So they are looking for a move to 650. So that's what it can happen next week. Okay, so keep a watch on it. If it keeps moving, then we should definitely, it's worth the bet, but don't hedge all your bets on it, but just a little bit so that we can see if it's going there or not. The best one will be to buy 412 calls to just to be on safe side to see that it reaches this point. Okay, so that's one thing I would do. So 412 calls, 650 or something like that, and see if it goes. That's what I would say. Okay, makes sense. So when you combine the unusual option activity with your technical analysis, that is the major force, folks. So you want to see where the smart money is going, and then you want to see if it matches with your technical analysis. First, the technical analysis comes, then the smart money comes. If you think it can go up, then you look at it, what they are, then that they can confirm whatever. Let's look at even Meta. Meta, similarly, we think it might go up, but let's see what they think. The smart money. Smart money is playing 512.5 put. But again, this one you don't take it individually. They buy sometimes spreads. So you got to watch. Look for big time volumes, folks. These kind of things. 16.46. He put 160. That means this is like a fresh order. Like they are not playing any existing orders, but they are playing fresh order. Look at this. 487.5 calls for $11. They have bought it. So that according to implied volatility, the move is at least to 509. So this is a good play. And if you see here, somebody has already, this was very old, 326. This was on 328. 328, they played a 512.54. This is perfect. They don't expect it to go above 512.5, but they don't expect it. They are expecting in between these two things. You see this? That is how it is. See, look at this volume to OI ratio. This guy has played $2.28 million. So that's a big move, folks. 1338. So this guy played at 165. Maybe they are the same players, but this is what. So I am expecting the move to 509 from the IB. So that is what this makes perfect sense to me. They are buying the 487.5 calls and they are buying the 512.5 puts so that they want to see that it stays below that. Okay, that's what it is. Oh, what did I do? So they are hedging on both sides. Okay, that's what it is. All right. Similarly, let's cover the rest of the things. So we covered Meta, Netflix, Tesla, Apple. What else did we leave? Oh, Amazon. Amazon is a good move is coming up, folks. Basically, we should see a move to this guy, but the implied volatility is showing $5 move. So we might, as we expected, it should go to 186. So I am expecting this kind of a move. Basically, we should see touching this 188 before it goes there. So it needs by next earnings, we should see the move to 200, folks. So the next earnings happens to be on April 25th. So that's what April 25th post market. So that time is where when we reach 200. So again, if the SPY moves very fast, these guys can also move very fast. But I don't see it going and hitting its target of 200 this week. But I do expect it to go to 186, 180 area. Okay. Is there anything else that we left, folks? One more thing, right? Oh, Google. Google is like making so many amends to their AI. So this is one thing I am waiting for it to cross this, folks. This is the thing. But it has a lot of time, basically until May 20th, to get to this area. Basically, it fell 75. Sorry, come again. Somebody was saying something. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where I expect it to be. So this is like May 27th. So I don't, because it fell a lot of weeks here. So we might see another 8 candles or something. So we might see 170, folks, but that might coincide with the earnings. So the next earnings is around April 15th. So I would buy after that if you are like a long term. So in this market, don't buy short term, buy a little bit more time with the earnings because it's going to get dirty, folks. That's for sure. Okay, that's one thing. So we covered all the Mag 7. Now let's talk about the BTC. BTC is like it has risen 1 week. It went now this week. I think it might be a downtrend. Basically, it will come because it needs another week to get to the top. But again, I think this kind of was overblown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this and see where it is heading. So let's draw the trend lines again at this point. If it stays here, so it fell from 73,668 to 60. So that is like 60. Yeah. So 69, 65, 61. I still expect a little bit down to 57 at least. It didn't touch the conversion. It didn't touch anything. So I'm expecting at least a move to 75%, 75 retracement to 58, 57. And then we might see a move to 81 and those kind of things. So let's see if our trend lines confirm that. I'm going to draw a trend line from here to here. And go to the next high. This is high. Yeah, so this is on the high all-time. So we formed an all-time high in the Bitcoin, right? So basically, this is what. So you might see a move to this one, 73. That's where it is heading. But it's a high. Yeah, I don't think it will form this week, but it needs to fall a little bit and then come back and hit this one. But that's what it is for. So the next week it can hit this 73, 74, and then it might fall a bit to this line and then get to. So it is going up, but we need some more time. May 20th. Oh, by the way, for the Bitcoin, April 13th is the halving date, folks. So that is something is expected. So we might see the next move to 86. That's what it looks like. So 85,000. So, but this is the channel, folks. So it might have a low. It can go up to here and then come back into this channel. Okay. So this is how it is. The channel has been forming and this is what it is. And the trend, and it's in trend actually. Then the Ethereum is also similar. Ethereum, let's see where it is going. Let's remove all these lines. So let's see, if I draw the line, the Fibonacci, 'from here to here, Okay, now I am again drawing the trend line from here to here. And basically, the high is 3582. So this is the almost a high, right? 4,877. So let's take that. And where did we go to? 4,103. Okay, let's draw this line. Okay, so we have these resistances and okay, we have a very, very strong resistance here at 4195, 4,000. So that is one thing. And here, do I see anything that I can draw? That's what I'm, okay, that's fine. Okay, so this is what it is looking like, folks. So if it crosses this, then we can go to 4,527 and those kind of things. So yeah, so my question is it going to form a three-wave correction to get to 62.5 and then it will go to here is the question, right? So that is around 6,246. So both of them are in the second wave right now, the Bitcoin and Ethereum. Will it form a third wave is the question. Let's see here. 4,103, then it went to 3,060, 38, 35. Yeah, it should go to 2,900 at least here, the 62.5, so that it can run to 6142. I'm thinking it should drop a little more and then break into this line. When it breaks into this line, that's when you need to buy to get to this level. Okay, that's what it is. So any questions here, folks? Hello?
No,
So
looks
yeah,
good.
for Bitcoin, it is like 58, 57 area. And for this one, it is 2910, 2,900, 2,800 area. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see.
So halving day that you mentioned, April 13th, it will impact the minor stocks.
Come again, what is that?
You mentioned April 13th as the halving day. That will impact.
Halving is like what is halving is nothing but the rewards given to the miners are reduced by another half.
Right, by another half.
So what is
So
going to happen is it's going to become scarce and scarce, right? Basically, the number of bitcoins are already 21 million, and then it is getting reduced. So the price is going to surge. But the last halving, it went up to 68. After the halving, within 9 months, we went to 68K, I believe. I believe that is what it is.
okay.
Was it last halving or before that? I'm not sure. So, but it went up quite a bit. But this halving, again, they are expecting 100K. But it's not, but before the halving, always it falls down, the Bitcoin. But after the halving, it starts going up. So I think what is going to happen is the SPY is also going to have a big retracement and everything. And then this will go, or they might form an individual, Bitcoin might travel by itself. It looks like they are more and more people are treating it like an asset. We got to see usually when will it diverge from the SPY? Is it really the digital gold? If people really treat it like a digital gold, that's phenomenal because it's a great hedging asset, right? But so far, it has not been the case. When SPY goes down, it goes down. So will it continue to do that or will it form its own path like gold? Like, for example, look at gold, folks. Gold has been phenomenal, all-time high now. Look at this, 205. Like, this is all-time high of gold. So gold has been like so good so far, right? It is going to 208. So basically, this is so if it can move like this when the SPY is down also, then that could make it really a digital gold. So let's see what happens. But definitely 100K is on the horizon, folks. Definitely 100K is there. After that, we might for again every time it makes a big move, it gives away 25%. So BTC, if you see, it gives away 75% of the move. Even Nvidia really scares me in the sense if you see that move, it's so big. So when it falls, but what these people do, they become very smart. They'll announce a split, and then what happens when it splits? Like the stock prices gets lower, right? So then it'll only fall by 50%, $25 or $10, $30. People won't mind so much. That's what CMG did. CMG knows that their stock is due for a fall. So they split it to 50s to 1. And that's what is happening now. Mhm. Did I answer your question or I went all
Yes,
around?
yes,
Okay.
yes. That's perfect.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
No
So
problem.
having is just an event. I think the news is already baked in. But having said that, Bitcoin definitely technically looks sound to go to. The reason why I'm saying it needs to go to 100, if it doesn't get to this level, right? That's what I was saying the other day. If it doesn't get to this 62.5, 51,000, 50 gray, then it doesn't have that move. But if it gets to 61 to 51,886, then it can go to 110. This is the thing. So the question is always the waves that fall tells us how far it can go back. That's what it is. So this wave, but for me, it looks like it wants to bounce out of this 57 area. So that means it can get to next leg is only 81K, 86K. If it can, or even 88K, then again it will take one more round to go there. So it might get there, but it may not be in the next leg. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So that's considered. Now let's look at some of the positions that we had. Spot was a big winner, but it was a fast mover and it just fell down. But Spot, I'm liking it for earnings. If you look at this, the Spot, it's all congested, folks. So let me show you. Okay, so you take Spot. Spot, it has fallen for it is not good. What did I draw? Okay, this is the one I drew. So 4, and then it didn't, it went to this area and then it fell down. Now it might go here, it might fall faster and it might come here. Now we want it to fall to this area. So it didn't touch this one, but still it needs to go to 285. That's what I was thinking. But how will it go there is the question. So it might need some time there. Okay. So let's see what happened. But we got out at the 276 area based on the IV. That's why these IVs are very good, folks. Sometimes you might think the stock might go there, but you also have to check the IV. Does the IV allow us to go for that week? So the IVs might have, since we don't know what is the probability, it's always good to check on the IV. Okay. So Spot is one thing which is looking good. Not that, so we are not there. YNET, what happened was, this was a little bit of an aggressive move I took. In the sense it has fallen for 2 weeks and then it went up. So 1, 2. So I thought it might go up here. 307.74, 1, 2. So what I was thinking was, it formed a higher high here and it fell. So it might now need 3 weeks to go there. So that is what is happening, folks. So it would take a lot of time. But according to IV, next week, it can go to this area, which is 302, 305 area. This is where I would get out, whatever it is. If I can, I will dollar cost average it a little bit, and then I will get out of this area. So it is right now at 290. So that means it fell to a low of 284. So it could go to 302. And then that's where I want to get out of this ANET because it requires a lot of time to get there. Okay. That's one thing. This channel will give you a lot of information about when it can reach its target and all those kind of things. Even for the earnings, look at this, folks. The earnings is on April 29th. It might only go up to here, 336, but ultimately it can reach 365. The other one which I want to talk about is Crowd. Crowd is really, I like this thing. In another 2 weeks, this guy can get to 380 area. Basically, you see this channel. The channel that I've drawn, this is like it can go, it went to 277.35. So this is the area that I'm targeting at, 375 area. But if it can go there, it needs another 2 weeks. So 375 area, 380 area is the CUDA, but in 2 weeks it can go. If this is going, even PAN W can move forward. Keep a watch on cybersecurity stocks. They have been beaten down by crazy. Basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It fell for 3 weeks and it has been for going up for 5 weeks. Now the next target here is here, 398. Or if you see, wait a minute, this is 376, 347. And if you draw this line, so it has to at least go here, 321. So some big move is coming with the crowd. The next 2 weeks will be crucial for this cybersecurity stocks. Then what else? Amazon we already talked about. Netflix we talked about. Meta we talked about.
Snow with the CEO buying that very interesting setup.
Which one?
Snow.
Oh, Snow. Snow, it is like very slow. I don't know. See, it has fallen so many weeks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. So it has plenty of time. It is below the cloud. It is below the UMA cloud. It's below the Ichimoku cloud. It just is starting up. So this is the first target, 233, if it can get there. But to get there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it needs at least another 5 weeks. Basically, if you are playing long, that's great. Leap calls or whatever, that should be okay. But let me see. 1 second. I'm just measuring the GAN. Please bear with me. 237 to 151. Whoa, that was a big fall, man. 145, that is 769, 197, 225, 225. Okay. I don't know, man. This one, I think we might hit it here. I think it will hit to, it is not, I don't think this is going to form a higher high. Might hit the 231 area again, and it might fall. That's what I'm thinking. It will fall below this level, which is 119.27. So that's what it is like. It's looking like for me now. Basically, we should see. So, but let's look at it. Snow, is there any big calls? They are playing smaller. You see this, my friend? Somebody played here 200 calls, but that's a very small amount. 4, 5. Oh, this is the bigger one, 21.16. What did he do? He's playing puts. You see that? I will give it some time, basically, unless I see something big happening, some news, it might spike up and then fall down quickly. That's what I feel. Did I answer your question, Oscar?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So the charts are not looking that great to play that. It's not like, okay. Okay, let's talk a little quickly about Algo, Broadcom. Broadcom is like, it is like in a very tricky, see how many things, right? It went to a high. Wait a minute. Broadcom. Is it Broadcom? Why the weekly? Okay. 1175. This is 1174. Look at this, folks. Look at this channel, folks. This channel will tell you everything that you need to know. So basically, you see this. Okay, where is this one, right? So this is today there was an analyst prediction for analyst price target of 1650. But I don't, that has a long legs, but it needs a lot of time, another 7 candles. So basically we are only looking at for the next earnings. So basically we are in the territory of 1 So we might see, so this is where we want to look at. That is like the next earnings, right? So that is where we can go to 1580 or 1570, that area. So I want to see when it can go there. So if you are playing this, play with the next earnings. So that will work out well for you. Okay, that's what it is. But the key is it needs to get into this line. So 1326 seems to be, it's very, very close. If it crosses this, then the next target will be 1403. And then from there it can go there. So once it gets into it, it goes very fast to the top and then comes back. It kind of goes up and down, up and down. But the key is to remain in the trend. Okay. Then same thing if Avgo is like that. So NVIDIA, we already talked about it, right? NVIDIA, this is the key. Let me show you the bottom channel. So it is still in the trend. If you see this, it fell for 2 weeks. It is in the trend. So the next target is, if you see, we have this 960 for the IV move, but it may not go to all the way to the top, 1024. But when will it go? We have to see. The next 2 weeks with the SPY, it can move. But it all depends on, keep a watch on this. IV move is for $47 for the week. Maybe if the implied volatility changes in the morning, then we'll see. That's what it is. So that's what it is. So I think we pretty much covered everything. Now let me show, let's see if there is any earnings just coming up. No, by the way, Paychex postponed their earnings to this week. So let's see how it will. We looked at it last week, right? Paychex. So what happened here? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is set to go here, folks, but not a big move. It might 50. So PX will go to this one. Okay. So there's a lot of resistance here, folks. It has to cross this, then it has to cross this, then we can go. But it's not in the channel, so it might be a very slow mover. Okay. Then Oracle is another one, folks. Oracle is a breakout. You see this Oracle breakout? Anybody sees this? It broke out here and it can go to 137 area. So that's what I was looking for. So basically, this is the area that we are looking at. But it is consolidating here for 3 weeks. Now, another 2 weeks, it can take off. So, but that is what we are waiting for. So if it, as long as this stays above this line, okay. So keep a watch on Oracle, and I want to look at this. If Oracle has, Oracle is looking bearish, bearish, bearish. So 132 put, 130, 119 put, 130 call. No, not much. Oh, somebody is playing here is not very 194, 120 put he's playing. Okay. So I am thinking since it stayed 3 weeks above this line, it is going to go up. But let's see, maybe I'm wrong, but at least we should see this 137, which is at the top of the Bollinger Band. So for that, it might come to this level before it gets to the bottom of it gets to the bottom of the Bollinger Band, the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, which is 122. So to keep a watch at 122 area, folks. Is it bouncing above this line, which is 125? Then you can play this. So I think first it might make a move to here, and then it will go to the top of the Bollinger Band. Okay, so Oracle might be a good play for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so as I see, one thing I'm noticing is there are less and less number of opportunities being formed. So which is telling me that be cautious. Okay, that's what I'm saying, trying to do. So any play, folks, that you like here in the earnings that you want to look at? By the way, RH made a big move last week. We talked about it, but if you see, we didn't play it because it was under the cloud or something, but it was a big move. It broke through this line. We drew this line and it broke through this line. Now it is going to come back here. And if it stays here, then wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this went off here. That's pretty good. So what I'm expecting is to get a move back to 50%, which is at 306, and then we can get a move to 379. So that's what I would like it. But let's see if we can get a move back to 306. So RH it was made a very big move. This breakout, it didn't give a chance at all. It just rose on that day. So if it had broken out and stayed there, we could have played for this week or next week. Okay, it's okay. Sometimes some stocks move like that. There's nothing we can do about it. Any place do you see here, folks, that you know? Oh, another play that went up well, who played it or not, I don't know, is VKTX. They gave a 120 price target for this last week, and it fell for 3 weeks, it went up. But I think it will stagnate now. It will stagnate here. It went to a high of 89, and then it'll go there. So give it enough time, folks. This guy can get to here, like 181, 156. 156 is the key, folks, for this one. So that's what I'm thinking. So let's see how this plays. But again, play with the earnings, which is the earnings is another 3 candles. So which makes sense. It's another 3 candles going on. 99, 99, 1, 2, 3, fell for 4 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will at least give it another 4 weeks, folks. And I wouldn't play it right now. I would wait for it for another 2, 3 weeks and then wait for it to make a big move. So one more thing, folks, if you want your money to work, you want to know the time factor too. So just by holding it for long, you will lose premiums unless you're buying it very long. Okay. So there are 2 ways to do this. One is wait for the correct move, or you play very long. Okay. These are the 2 things which you want to, if you play very long where you don't lose your option value or extrinsic value, then you're good. Like for example, you play leap calls on this, that might work because you're not losing much value on it. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to tell. I think we pretty much covered. Is there anything else? Any questions?
Srini, how is Eli Lilly looking like? There isn't much momentum in that stock recently.
Yeah, Lilly is like
Going up or down like that, but nothing.
that's what I'm saying. It is like bouncing in this area, basically TET. Again, you got to see another. I think I will give it next earnings. The next earnings is on when May 13th, right? So that is when I wanted to go to this guy, which is 960. It has a great legs. But I want to play long if I play this. But I will play only at the time when I see that a moment is right, right? So it depends upon how long you want to wait. So first I wanted to cross through this, or it might see there are 2 ways it can enter here. If you look at this channel, so it can directly go here, or it can go from this line, right? If it stays below this line. So at this point of time, I don't want to take any chances. So I want to wait and see what it does, right? So, but if you're playing July, August, September call, then it should be okay. Because even if it goes through this line, this is on July 8th. And this is on, if it goes through this line, then we are talking about June 10th. So it's a month difference. So if you play August calls, then you should be okay, right? To either for the 960 calls. It's a nice setup. Every week it is going up a bit, little bit. I'm thinking it is taking its time, but it will slowly reach the target. There's some big news coming up. during this time frame maybe, and then it will raise up. But one thing I'll tell you folks, May is a very bad month for stocks, April and May. So you will see a lot of downturn. So you don't want to hold on your money at that point of time. All these moves will happen in June, I believe. Okay, unless you're okay, I just put a little bit and I'll wait and wait for a buy long, very long, like September calls or something like that. And then you will be
Yeah. You absolutely said the right thing, Srini. April, May, the market tends to correct at least. Seeing the way this has run up, I'm
Mhm.
expecting a move at least 5 to 8%.
Yeah, I'm expecting 450 folks. That's
Yeah.
saying. I told you right before itself, 450 seems to be a very valid target. Once it reaches 535, it definitely has to go there. And because it's all a wave cycle, right? It has to come back and do these things. So in fact, if you're taking a break, those 2 months are the best months for breaks in trading. I would say, because you can take your vacation, whatever. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so definitely, so if you see, right, the number of opportunities are dwindling. SMCI. SMCI is another stock, folks, which is like up and it is like struggling. It has already formed the low. So if you see here, let's look where it went. Where is the low of this thing? Okay, so this is the low, right? So if you see here, this is the beauty of this stock. It went to 62.5, it went over the 62.5, and then it came up. Look at this chart, folks. Then this one is hitting it from the 75%. Again, I feel these guys are going to move up or down. But the thing which I don't like about this is it hasn't hit the conversion yet, but it hit the EMA cloud. But if you look at the daily, it went from the mid of the Bollinger Band. And oh, this is nice. So it is going to the top of the Bollinger Band again, which is 1229. So you see this is the midline. It crossed the midline and it is exactly at the midline. BB midline is somewhere. I'm looking at daily now. Midline is around 1048. So it went below this, right? So if it crosses this, then we can see this 1225. So these kind of things. Today I wanted to teach a little bit how I calculate IV. Bear with me. So what I do is, can anybody tell me? Let's say, see, usually, right? Let me show you. Let me share my calculator so that you can know. You can do this calculation yourself also, folks. Just if you know any IV, right? Let's say a stock closed that, let's say this guy, right? SPY closed at 520. How much did SPY close at? SPY closed at 523, right? If SPY closed at 523, then its implied volatility for the next week is very, very low. I think it's around 9. Okay, let me do this. I already show, okay, 9, right? So that means, first of all, right, you have to understand there are 252 trading days in a year, okay? Though we have 365 days, there are only 252 trading days. That excludes the Saturday, Sunday, and all the national holidays. So what happens is in stock trading, there is something concept called standard deviation. Okay. So what? One second. I'll show you that so that you understand what is. This is just standard deviation. Probabilities in trading. This is the one. You see, this is how it is, this folks. So basically, this is 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviation. So you see this, there is a 68.2% that it remains in 1 standard deviation. That means this is what. And then if you take the 2 standard deviation, this is how the bell curve is, right? If you take any trading, So sometimes you see a big move. That means there's a 2 standard deviation. Now let me finish what is standard deviation. Standard deviation is how, always the stock comes back to the mean, right? The mean means which is 0, whatever the price is. So that means from here, where can it move? That is the question. So that they measure by standard deviation. If you want to read about this, there's plenty of material. You should read it, okay? So there is also, I don't know how this guy calculates it. He has given a thing, strikes with a probability of 16% ITM and 84 capture of 1 stamp. He has given, but let me tell you how I do the calculation. This works pretty well for me, but I just wanted to, let's say SPY has 9%. If you take IV, if you, for any, you have your option tools, right? Hello? Option chains. In the option chains, you have a lot of this technical indicators like gamma, vega. Then you will also have something called as IV and open interest. Have you seen that? Open interest, volume, and IV. Have you seen that on the
Yes.
option chains? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So that implied volatility move is, let's say it says 9%. That means you also take 0.09 because it's a percent, 9 divided by 100, right? Now you got to understand, if you're now, let's say I want to know what is the percentage for a week. So the way you calculate is to do that is you need to know what is the standard, what is the you calculate something called as factor, which is something called 5 days in a week divided by 252. That gives you this, and this is the standard, then the square root of that. That will give you 0.14. If there is a holiday, then you do something like 4. Let's say last week was a thing. So you say 4 divided by 252. Then, oh, sorry, this is wrong. Wait, what did I do? 4 divided by 252. Square root, that is 0.12. If there are only 3 days, then that's 0.10. Those kind of things. So now what you do is you multiply this factor 0.14 into 0.09, right? And at what price did it close? At 523.07. So that tells me it has a move of $6.59. Now if you look at the chart, now this doesn't tell me the direction, folks. This tells me that it can move a move of $6.59. So if I look at this, okay, now how does this chart look for me? So the chart right now, I see a bullish candle here. I don't see anything showing me that it's going down. So if I assume that it is going up, that means it is going to 523 to 6.5. That is 529.5. And if you say the GAN, the closest GAN angle comes to 532. And if I see downward, we are seeing a move of 517. And if I see the closest GAN angle, it will come to 512. So that's what. So you can expect a move from 512 to 532. So that is what. So it's a $20 move is what is expected. So forget about the GAN. Even if you take the 6.5 move, it's a 529.5 to what is it? 517. So that's what you are looking at for. That's how I measure it. And we go from there. So similarly, NVIDIA, when I measured it, we got a move of $47 for this move, for this week. So we got to respect that. The reason is, but there can be sometimes, as I mentioned, there can be sometimes, there will be 2 standard deviation. For example, what do I mean by that? When I say 2 standard deviation, the probability of that to happen in 2 standard deviation is 68.2 plus 26 plus 27.2. So that is 68.2 plus 27, 86%. So 86%. So there's a very high chances it will fall within 2 standard deviation. That's what people tell you. If it falls a 3 standard deviation, that's still 94.4%. Going more than that is like almost highly impossible, but the percentage is very, very low. Okay, this can happen to biotech stocks or something like that, which gives a very high percentage. But usually, that's why the implied volatility plays a significant thing for day traders, especially if they want to know, or swing traders who want to know what is the move for the week, what is the move for the day, those kind of things, right? So you can even calculate the implied volatility move for the day, but it may not happen, but it may not happen as you expected. But you can say, hey, what is the max it can go today? What is the max down it can go today? You can have an idea, and that will enable you to have some confidence in keeping the position or closing the position, those kind of things. So I'll stop here. Any questions on this? So there are a lot of, see, when I put this, there are so many guys here who are talking about this, how to use standard to put probabilities. So most of them use this basically, but they don't talk much about it because there is no proven, but this is like that tells you how much a move, especially if you're day trading or if you're swing trading, you don't have a lot of time at your disposal, like, then you can have this. This is not for investing folks. This is only for trading purposes. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Hello.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Thanks, Srini. This is useful.
Okay, so just from in the chat room, I'm going to ask who is going to calculate the standard deviation for me, and maybe it'll be Oscar first. What, Oscar?
Surely, I have done green belt, and I was also signing up for black belt. We typically take a look at standard deviation as one of the classical tools to see variance,
Hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah.
good
So
to remember all of that.
yeah, yes. So basically, it's all science. Basically, if you really want to understand, like I will forward you a book. It's a phenomenal book. It's available on my Kindle. It's free also. Basically, that author died. Actually, I learned a lot from him. Basically, 1 minute. I'll forward that book. Basically, so that you can check. That will teach you all these things also. It will tell you what is, if you are not understanding how options move, you want a great understanding of the options, then that's a phenomenal book, folks. 1 second, I'm trying to see, why am I not able to fit? Oh, I'll forward it later. Some challenges there in this, something my keyboard is not working or something. Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll take any questions and then we'll wrap this session.
Yeah, thank you, Srini.
Oh, so no questions anymore? Okay, so crowd, snow, Riot. Okay, crowd we talked about. Riot, same problem, my friend.
Yeah.
The same problem with with the Mara it is in the channel. So Mara, I somehow prefer Mara more than Riot in the sense Mara is like it has like much more upturn and it can go. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4. It is like it has a little more weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, another 4 weeks, folks, to get to the higher high. This guy can get to the 48 Mara. So same thing with Riot. He can, but Riot, I don't know. It looks like it's fine. I want it to get into the channel, this channel, so that we can see some big moves, right? So it can also go to 33, but it needs a lot of time. Another 5 weeks, folks, I feel. So let's see, by April end or something, maybe halving will create all those things. I don't.
Yeah.
Mm.
Halving is the catalyst we're looking forward to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting. Basically, I need some breakout or something. I don't want to get stuck in that stock, That's what it is. So again, we can play the implied volatility move, but other than that, we'll see. Mara has been a very good winner for us most of the time. So let's see how it goes. Okay. All right.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, have a good weekend, folks.